Hey everybody, welcome back to Absolutely Marvel and DC. I'm Dylan, that is Dan, and today we are Benny-less because he was busy. But we're still talking about The Flash, the finale of Armageddon. The episode that shouldn't exist.
Yes, the epilogue episode, the one that should have just been called Armageddon Epilogue and not another part of it, because
Armageddon, the studio ordered a 5th episode, so we had to make up some bullshit real quick.
So in this episode, we have the Reverse Flash has appeared back in the current timeline because Barry had just fixed the Reverse Flashpoint in the last episode. We started this one off. He goes to the police precinct. He's disappearing, and he's like, Barry, I want you to save me. And the entire episode is just the entire crew being like, should we save him? I don't know. I think we should let him die. I don't know. I think we might save him. Nah, we should let that guy die. He's not a very good guy. And then Joe being surprisingly angry and yelling.
Thank you for also noticing that.
That was very out of character for him.
Hey, Cecile is rubbing off on Joe in ways I don't like.
Yeah, I feel like Cecile and Joe just in general have shifted a lot of what their characters were. But anyway, we had Damien Dark with Nora, that getting concluded, the Despero getting concluded. Totally excited to talk about the fact that we're preventing killing things, so we kill someone else. But and then that's the episode. But we also got the golden boots in a way that
he earned them
sense
by doing nothing.
It was like that moment where you're like, okay, I've completed the quest. Time to go for the final boss fight. Wait, you'll need this one item to deactivate their abilities so that you can actually deal damage. That's basically what those boots were.
I know it's a superhero show and we're gonna run into Deus Ex Machinas, but like, good lord. Let's just, here's an actual boots weapon that it's like, if they had it written on it. Anyway, the point is, I don't know. I didn't really like this episode. Doesn't seem like you did either.
No, I didn't either. Honestly, I did not either. I felt like there was a lot of forced stuff. Henry? No. Sorry? Cat walking and trying to just shoot her way across the screen. No, overall, I didn't like the episode. I thought a lot of things were very forced. I felt like we even had a moment where like they're talking about the future and Chester even goes, so what about me and Allegra? Was there anything there? And it's like, okay, you haven't made it clear your feelings towards her. Allegra's right there. Very clearly something's going on.
I genuinely, in that moment, expected Barry to say, like, a wink, wink, nudge, nudge, y'all hooked up in the future, even though he has no way of knowing that, just because, like, the writers forgot. Like, that's what I expect from this show at this point.
Yeah, because that part was just... That was odd. Joe showing up and yelling about not killing the Reverse Flash who just killed him was very out of character. Like, him telling them not to kill, that was normal. I'll say that. Yes, I will say
that's what I was going to say.
Him being like, don't do it, like, you're a hero, that was in character. It was the anger behind the way that he said it.
The fact that Joe West has been probably one of the most consistent characters of this show.
Yes.
Where he is like he's Barry's like ethical center. He's his moral ground where, you know, he's just like he's a dad. Like he's like, all right, this is what you probably should do, but I'm not going to tell you to do it. I'm going to just tell you what I think, which will lead you in the direction to make your own decision.
Yeah.
But they write him in a way where like, yeah, Joe would probably not want to kill someone. His whole thing about like when your life is about protecting people, you can't choose who you protect. You just protect people. And that's great. But he screams at Barry and Iris like they're 4 years old and just shit on the carpet and like to the point where at the end of it he says he issues them an ultimatum, which is so unlike him. Like, if you let Eobard Thawne die, I will disown you two. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, like, it just didn't fit his character. Like you said, I feel like Joe is Barry's moral compass and like Iris is his emotional compass in a way, like if we were to put those to different characters. But yeah, this felt a lot less like the father figure trying to help his kids decide what the right thing is, and felt a lot more like, no, do it the way that I say, because otherwise we're like, you've ruined this family. And it's like, that's no, Joe.
Yeah, that's not that character at all. And like, I think it is interesting that this has happened now to Cecile and Joe both. Like, I never really cared about Cecile's character. I think she was interesting back when she was a meta lawyer. That was a cool like twist on it. But now that she apparently, I guess, doesn't even know what the word lawyer is, she just screams and uses her funny little sound effect power to see what people to really do whatever the writers need it to do at that given moment. It's just I don't know. It's the same. It's funny that we gave episode 2 so much praise for like nailing it and really thinking, like, I'm pretty sure you said like, I need these writers to stick around when we were talking about episode 2, and I think they just, like, no pun intended, got lightning in a bottle with episode 2, and it's just business as usual since then. It's just back to the season 7, like, not understanding these characters, using them like they're tools in a toolbox. Like, Joe's back, so let's have him yell at Barry and Iris, because that's what we need to happen here. Even though you didn't need that to happen there.
Like, the only thing that would make that make sense would be if it turned out that when they did reset things, something got changed or someone meddled with it, and that's why Joe's acting out of character. But I don't see them being smart enough to make something make sense like that, unfortunately.
Also, that would suck, because we go from one AU to another AU. No, I'm good on that.
Yeah, it's... That I thought that was weird. I did like that we got Mia Queen from...
You liked Mia? Okay.
I mean, I thought it was... So the reason why I thought it was... I liked it was because of the fact that I'm wondering if this is them... If they keep her in this show... If the Arrowverse has gone full circle, where we introduced Barry Allen in the Arrow and then eventually got the Flash show, and if this is them going, hey, we're going to set up Mia Queen to see if people would actually be interested if we brought back Arrow with her as Arrow. And I think that would be hilarious. Get a show.
And
exactly.
I think because the scenes they showed, this is probably whatever writer who was going to write the Canaries show is like, I'm going to weasel. Armageddon was just one huge ploy so that they could follow up on the plot of William being taken, which was supposed to, I assume, supposed to be the plot of the Canaries show, which is hilarious to me.
I thought that was funny. I thought that bit was funny. I haven't seen Arrow for ages, didn't see the last couple seasons, so I didn't know who she was. So for me, it was much more of just like a new character. Oh, it's like, exactly. It was a brand new character for me, and because at first I was like, oh my gosh, who's this alternate universe Arrow? Like, what the hell? And then when it was Mia, I was like, oh, okay. I think I will say I'm nervous what they're going to be doing with time travel and the future in the next couple episodes, considering we do have Mia from the future. They mention the fact that she is free to come back, and then we have a little thing at the very end with Bart and Nora hiding in the background of a CCPD picture.
I just realized you were totally right, because they've gone from an alternate universe that we were in for the first 2 episodes, and then the 3rd episode we ended up in a second alternate universe, and now we got back to the normal timeline, and then Damien Dark gave Joe the time stone, which Also, it's called the Time Stone. They didn't even bother renaming it.
I know that part. Every time I was like, "Where's their gauntlet? Why aren't they getting the other stones?"
And then at the end, we end up in a different alternate universe where I guess Bart and Nora have always been in this timeline. Is the implication?
I don't know if it's that or if it was just like a. I actually have no idea. Like, honestly, I have no idea what that was even supposed to be because the fact that it was a picture from 2014.
Right, which is when the show started.
Yeah, so I thought that was a little bizarre.
And Eddie is in that photo too. Mm-hmm. Is Eddie back? Probably not.
Well, I mean, but it makes sense for Eddie to be there because, 2014, he was alive. But it's
strange. I don't know what they're doing. They're obviously setting up the next 13 episodes, the rest of the season. But like, are we doing Bart and Nora again? Like we've had Nora.
I hope
Nora
not.
for an entire season, and then another few episodes when Bart came back. So why?
I really hope they don't do too much more with that. So besides the usage of the boots, though, I want to ask. Opinions, looks, like what did you think of the boots when they brought them out? Because
from what we saw, which was admittedly really not much, because they kind of did like one shot. They kept going close up on it, and I didn't like what I saw when it was close. I needed a wide shot of Barry like standing there hero pose with the boots. We didn't get that. So
I was a little bummed we didn't get the full body shot as well to show how it fits with the entire ensemble.
Right. Yeah. Because just like looking at it alone, I will say, looking at Reverse Flash's costume, where he has the red boots, which are supposed to be the opposite of the yellow boots, like they look good on him. So I guess it's fine. I don't know. Their whole thing that like this season's incredible because of the yellow boots is like, all right, it's their boots. Chill.
Was it just me, or did Reverse Flash's mask look like it didn't fit properly this entire Armageddon event?
I think Tom Cavanaugh has just like not worn that suit before. We're just not used to him wearing it.
Yeah, every time he showed up, I was like,
it does look bad.
Yeah, I was like, what's going on here?
I think also it's possible they didn't want to, because these superhero suits are form-fitted to the body of the person that's going to wear them. Yeah. I think there is every chance that the suit that Tom Cavanaugh is wearing is just Grant Gustin's.
The one that he wore in that one scene, and then it's not... Oh, my God. I kind of hope that's the case, because that is hilarious.
I don't think they're going to spend an entire budget for like Tom Cavanaugh to have his own form-fitted suit that looks good on him for like 2 scenes.
Oh my gosh.
Because he really doesn't show up as the Reverse Flash that much. I am curious. I wonder if we can look at I'm going to pull up a screenshot from the end of season 7 to see. I want to see what he looks like there. I could have
sworn he's like worn the full suit before.
It's a different suit. Fine. That's right.
It's a different one. Okay.
Yeah, they changed it. That's right. Yeah, it's a much better looking suit.
Did they change it so that every time... Hold on. Every time they changed the Flash's costume, have they changed the Reverse Flash's to match it?
I don't think so until now.
Okay.
I think this was the first time they did it. Yeah, that's totally why it looks weird, because this new suit with the
it's just bad.
Yeah, because the Reverse Flash suit was it was the older one that was like mimicking season 1 Flash with like the gradient. That's right. It had like the yellow to black. And then this one's just a color swap of Barry's current one. Man, this old one looks much better. Why did they not?
Yeah, I was going to say when he showed up in it, I was like, I don't remember the Reverse Flash looking this bad. But
yeah, I'm almost certain then that they made one Reverse Flash suit for Barry to wear in the alternate timeline, and they fitted it to Grant Gustin because they already had those measurements, and then they just shoved Tom Cavanaugh into it.
Which is ironic because Tom Cavanaugh ended up wearing it more than Grant Gustin did.
But it makes sense because Barry looks good in the Reverse Flash suit, and Tom looks horrible in the Flash suit.
Yeah,
So that's probably what happened. They didn't want to spend the money on it. Fair enough. But yeah, that looks bad. I don't know why they didn't just reuse that old
now,
suit.
Speaking of budget, I think I know where that part of the budget went. Did you notice during the Despero Flash fight that there is a full CGI Flash moment where he stands there and goes back in, and it legitimately looks like a cutscene from Injustice? If you
I'm so
look
glad
at
you
it,
mentioned that.
he straight up, like, I looked at him and I was like, that's not the Flash doing like Grant Gustin doing a pose. No, that is full CG Flash about to run in so they could do this full fight and have it all be CG.
I'm pretty sure that entire fight sequence between Despero and the Flash, there is one scene, there's one shot where it's actually live action, and it's when he's holding the car up and they cut to it and it looks horrible. The whole it looks like a video game cutscene for sure, that entire fight. But like
even the like moves that he's using, the fact that there's like 5 of them punching, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's a takedown in Injustice.
They just ripped it from the game. My biggest problem with those scenes is that they always it's how they move the camera, because they obviously, when you're gonna shoot something in CG, when you're gonna make a fully CG fight, Black Panther, its final confrontation has a huge problem with this too. Is suddenly the camera is just an object in 3D space that you can move around however you want, and the animators don't care to try to make it look realistic. Probably because they're spending all their time trying to make the actual scene look realistic. So the camera's like whipping and zooming in ways that it just doesn't do normally. Probably because the action is directed by someone completely different. It's just like, prevised and done way ahead of time. And there's probably not time for the director to be like, hey, why is the camera in a place that's like physically impossible? And we just don't do in this show.
They probably have different camera directors for CG versus live action, and it shows.
Yeah. I mean, that's superhero movies, at least 100%. Most of the time the action is prevised months in advance before shooting even begins.
Right.
So I don't think it's the same pipeline for like a network show like this. But it wouldn't surprise me if it was the same deal. But yeah. I'm not surprised at this point with the Flash having video game like fighting.
I mean, I will give them credit. When you take away the fact that it looks like a video game, it was a cool fight. It was better than King Kong versus Big Shark.
True. Better than any scene with Fuerza in it. I'll give it that. Look better
exactly.
Than that.
Like it definitely was an improvement, but there was one shot of the Flash where it's where he gets knocked back, he stands and then runs back in, and it's a full frontal shot, and you can very much tell that it is CG. But I mean, it was better though. It was better than what they have done with their CG. And you know what? If they keep improving, maybe we'll get there eventually where we don't immediately go, hey, that's definitely 100% CG.
It's a tough ask, right? Because you know, a lot of the stuff we complain about is people crying into the camera forever and the CW pushes, but like it's either that or horrible CG. So because they clearly don't have the budget to not do horrible CG. So I don't know. Yeah. There's obviously ways you can get around it, but I think not putting a giant alien in your show, that's a choice you could have made to shrink the CG, or just not doing a 5-part crossover.
Yeah, when you don't need the 5th part. But yeah, I did find it weird though that the whole thing of this episode was, man, we need to make sure that we don't kill the guy that has made all of our lives living hell. Instead, let's kill the alien. Okay, cool. Yeah. Let's go kill an alien.
Which I don't even know if he is dead. I think they also just took his power away, and then he just
because he like burns up though.
His timeline. He burns up.
Like, it looks like he burns up instead of the... Because when he did the time travel and stuff like that, it did the weird
like a mirror
prism thing. But, I mean, overall, this episode wasn't really needed. It was an entire episode tacked onto an event to give him the boots that, honestly, they could have been added before.
Or in different ways. Over the season break. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
I could have been like, you leveled up. Here's the boots you can now wear. Like,
yeah,
we were talking about leveling up all the time.
You've leveled up so much. You're so fast now that we need to give you some new boots so that they don't burn up. There.
Honestly, I would have loved a thing like that where they're like Barry, you've gotten so much faster that you're causing friction that we didn't know your suit could not withstand. Right. So we made these new, like that would have been a great way as well. Like,
easy.
Don't know how the boots are going to fit in the ring though.
Don't need all this Reverse Flash Despero nonsense. Just, hey, you're real fast now, Barry. Here you go. Here's some new boots from Skechers.
Overall, what did you think of the Armageddon event as a whole?
I think it was a 3-part story that they added 2 parts to. I don't know what happened in episode 2. I think the writers might have been on crack and like the director busted in and said, guys, no more cocaine for you, because that was a good episode. Episode 1 was even kind of fun, but like I don't know, something happened where
it started strong.
Yeah, it started strong. But obviously I'm not super looking forward to the rest of the season now. But who knows? What about you? What do you think of Armageddon?
I think it could have, like you said, if this was made into like a 3-part thing or something like that of just like present day, future, resolution, and returning back to the time, I think that would have been fine. I think there was a lot of forced crossovers that they decided not to really explain to make it worth the crossover.
Totally.
Like
That's
feel
how
like
I felt about Mia this episode.
Like Mia, or more like I'm more thinking Batwoman. Like they didn't really do anything to her or with her to make me go, man, I should go check out the Batwoman show.
Ray Palmer even. Like I think the point of Ray showing up was so that we could bookend it with Ray and Nora. But like,
why didn't we get that, for the record? Why couldn't we get a Ray like is at the party and then Nora's there? It's like, oh my gosh, I forgot about my wife. No.
Nope, we don't get that.
That would make too much sense to have a reunion like that.
Yeah, you can't do things that make sense. But we're not. Luckily, we could take a break because the Flash isn't coming back until March. So it's.
Oh geez, so we just got to. Oh my. Okay, you know what? Yeah. Okay, cool.
I knew they were taking a break. I didn't know it was that long of a break. So March 9th, 2022 is when episode 6 comes out. So, you know. This crossover was so epic that we have to take like 4 months off just to reset.
Jesus. I hope it's worth the wait. I hope they bring back those episode 2 writers.
Don't fool yourself.
Give them a bunch of crack again. You know what? If they made a good episode on...
Maybe they ran out and it takes them 3 months to get more.
They're just waiting on their supply. Guys, we need to get the show better.
Or supply. They're fiending. That's why these last 3 episodes sucked, because they wrote them while having withdrawals. Anyway, we've talked about crack too much in this episode. We need to stop.
Yes.
All right. Anyway, thanks for watching Absolutely Marvel in DC. See y'all in March for more Flash. But stay tuned to the channel otherwise, because we'll talk about more Marvel stuff probably. But yeah, stick around. I'm Dylan. That's Dan. See y'all later.